Imagine standing on a simple wooden platform, 20 feet in the air. Now imagine giving a signal to an assistant below to swing an axe at the only rope holding you up. It sounds like a death wish, but in May of 1854, a bearded man in a top hat did exactly that in front of a gasping crowd in New York. To understand why he did it, you have to look at how the world worked back then. Hoists and lifts had been around since ancient Rome to move cargo and supplies, but there was a strict unwritten rule. Humans did not ride them. If the rope snapped, the platform fell. There were no brakes. The certainty of a fatal drop made gravity a massive psychological barrier. It kept human civilization physically tethered to the ground floor. Because of that fear, 19th century real estate economics were entirely upside down compared to today. Since the only way up was by foot, the wealthiest citizens claimed the ground floors to avoid climbing. The poorest residents were pushed to the attics, enduring 6 flights of stairs. Cities grew outward, not upward. Buildings had a hard limit at 5 or 6 stories, simply because no one was willing or able to climb any higher. Enter Elisha Otis. He was not a celebrated visionary. Born on a farm in Vermont, Otis was heavily in debt and had spent most of his adult life failing at a string of modest businesses. But he had a compulsion. He couldn't look at a broken system without wanting to fix it. At the time, the man whose invention would eventually make the top floor the most valuable real estate in a building was earning a modest wage as a master mechanic in a bedstead factory. In 1852, Otis's employer needed a hoist to lift heavy factory equipment. Looking at the setup, Otis flipped the standard engineering approach. Instead of trying to design an unbreakable rope, he decided to figure out how to stop the fall after the rope broke. His elegant solution used a loaded wagon spring on the platform. While the rope pulled up, upward tension kept the spring flat. If the rope snaps, the spring shoots outward, locking into the shaft's guide rails and arresting the fall. He tested it, and it worked perfectly. Yet he didn't patent it right away, and almost nobody bought it. The public lacked the imagination to trust a tiny metal spring with their lives. Inventing a safe mechanical lift wasn't enough. Otis had to invent a psychological reason for people to step onto one. The solution to his marketing problem arrived via the 1854 Crystal Palace exhibition in New York. Orchestrated by P.T. Barnum, it was the ultimate stage for showcasing industrial marvels to a deeply skeptical public. Inside this imposing glass-domed structure, Otis built an open-sided demonstration platform in the center of the hall, ensuring every observer could clearly see the danger. He rode the platform upward. He nodded to his assistant. The axe swung, slicing the rope. The crowd went dead silent as the platform dropped, barely 3 inches, and locked into place. Otis tipped his hat and declared, "All safe, gentlemen." Despite this incredible piece of theatrical proof, commercial reality lagged behind. The newspapers barely covered the stunt, and Otis managed to sell only 8 elevators that entire year. Even when a revolutionary technology proves itself right in front of people's eyes, human nature requires time to override centuries of ingrained fear. The true turning point arrived 3 years later, in 1857. Inside an elegant Broadway department store, Otis installed the world's first commercial passenger safety elevator, charging customers 10 cents a ride to safely glide between floors. People paid the dime, and nobody died. The vertical city became possible. But in a tragic historical twist, Elisha Otis died just 4 years later from diphtheria at the age of 49. When his sons settled his estate, they found $8,200 in debts and only $5,000 in assets. He died effectively broke, long before his sons built his invention into a global corporate empire. Otis provided the mechanical reason to trust the sky, yet he never lived to see a single skyscraper built. His invention completely inverted real estate economics. Suddenly, height was desirable. The penthouse was born, making massive steel structures incredibly profitable. Today, a single floor of elevation in a Manhattan skyscraper adds up to 1% to the property's value. That translates a simple vertical distance into millions of dollars. We now take 18 billion elevator journeys every single year. The system operates so flawlessly that vertical travel is an invisible, thoughtless part of navigating hospitals, libraries, and our daily lives. Every time we push a button and safely rise toward the top of a tower, we are living in the world built by a failed businessman who bet his own life on a broken rope.